Hello, everyone. Another Thursday at noon. This is Toni Weel from, it's sunny Florida again. We had some rain, which was good for the fruit because my mango was looking kind of sad, despite being watered every day. I think it wanted a different kind of water. Anyway, we're here today with, of course, with Sara, my beautiful co-host and friend, and Gary Parent, who is always so interesting that even the talks before the show, we we keep going, and then it's like, oops, it's already noon. So last week we were touching on depression and anxiety, and we were like, yeah, we have to talk more about this. And Gary came up with a whole bunch of questions to be answered. And what would you like to do, Gary? We just go like one by one, and maybe I need to do a little bit more introduction. I am a Dr. Morse trained health coach, detox specialist, iridologist, whatever you all want to call it. And Gary has the same background, only he was 2 years ahead of me. And his direction is very much breathing and Qigong. And he knows so much. Every time I listen to him, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And I hope that goes for everyone listening too. And the topic depression is like I constantly, whenever I talk to somebody, we come across it. There is anxiety, there is a depression, but there can be so many reasons. Is it out? Can it actually be our breathing? Because one of the questions we had here is, do oxygen levels affect depressions? And if so, how? Well, let's go in that one first, Gary, because that one was at the top of the list anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for having me on the show again. I love being on with you and Sara. So I appreciate being here. So yes, oxygen plays a huge part in depression. They are shallow breathers. And because they're shallow breathers and their posture is down like this, and they move very slow, this is a low oxygen uh, way of living or being. People who are in depression very seldom can laugh or smile or chuckle, I should say, because that's a movement, right? Those are high energy things like laughing and love and joy and happiness. Those are all high oxygen things, and the body stands up straight. And when you're laughing, your head is going back and forth, so you're moving your whole body. In a state of depression, so we have depression, sadness, confusion, chaos. Those are low energy. Those are low oxygen things in the body because the rib cage is not moving, and because our lungs don't breathe. They're just a sac. It's our rib cage, back and chest's ability to expand that allows the lungs to fill. And a lot of times when people are depressed, there's a lot of toxins in the lower part of their lungs. So they're not, even if they try to take a full breath, it's really difficult for them because there's not a lot of motion, there's not a lot of expansion and contraction in the rib cage. So you're not getting that much oxygen in the lungs, and it's staying at the top. So the bottom is getting more and more toxins, and air can't get down in there. And this is the issue. The air and the oxygen and blood transfer, most of it takes place in the lower part of the lungs. So if you have toxins there, the air can't even get down there. And it doesn't, if you're a plant or whatever, right? When they're low on hydration, and hydration has water in it, they tend to lean over like this and give them a drink, and you give them and get air circulating around them, because plants breathe too, just like we do. And all of a sudden they're back up and they're happy and they're not in a state of suppression anymore. So this is why it's so important to breathe and move. Some people's diaphragms are actually stuck, or one half is not operating properly. So when you take a belly breath in through the nose, right, only half of the diaphragm is going down all the way, and the other one might only go halfway. It might only be 10%. So I met a person who had a paralyzed diaphragm on one side. So he was really low on oxygen, and that was causing most of his dis-ease in his body, is the fact that that diaphragm wasn't fully functioning. So he wasn't getting full breaths on one side of his body. So there is a way to correct that, but I think there's more questions there that we can get down to that would suggest that. Is
Yeah,
that true?
you had a question. Can you tell if people are depressed by the way they stand or sit? And you already answered that.
Yeah, and this is the other thing. I have a chair right here. I want to show you this. This is most of the people in America or around the world, really. Let's see if I can get back further. So you can see me here. So when we sit, our teachers tell us to sit up straight. Well, we never knew why. I'm not even sure they knew why. But the vagus nerve and the autonomic nervous system comes down from behind the ears, right up behind the earlobe, and the top of the jaw, and it runs right down the neck, and it runs right down through, right into the stomach. So this is fight or flight, or rest, digest, and heal. And rest, digest, and heal has to do with your breath. So people that are depressed, they're not getting full breaths, and the autonomic nervous system is usually in fight or flight, because lack of oxygen, lack of movement will put that in fight or flight. Something happened in their past, some trauma, and it could have been from when they were little, and their breath has been off their whole life. So they sit like this. And when you sit like this, and I'll do the side face too, so you can see. So they sit like this, and it's pinching off the vagus nerve, the autonomic nerve's ability to send the correct electrical charges through the body. So they would be like impingements. And that's what we're trying to avoid when we stand up straight. When well, you can do this right here. Just try to take a deep breath. I mean, you really can't do it because your body's stuck in that position. Whereas if you put your shoulders back and you do a belly breath, all of a sudden you're standing up straight and everything is flowing the way it's supposed to, because depression is a lack of flow. Electrically, the blood flow, the lymph flow, everything is off. And when you're in fight or flight, there's chaos going on up here because you can't think straight and you can't digest food properly. So there's usually a methylation issue there. And because when you're in fight or flight, you either have to fight or run or hide. So there's no time to think and there's no time to digest. The body just wants to get you out of there. Well, so many people are stuck on that side of their body, in the fight or flight side, that there is no rest, digest, and heal, and it affects your sleep. It affects everything. And you go for low energy, low vibrational foods. They're called comfort foods. Because they're depressed, they're looking for comfort, and they find it in their foods. And that can be through anything: relationship, trauma from the past, losing your job, finance. I mean, it just goes on and on. the things that can happen that will pull us to the fight or flight side of our body, and we don't breathe and we don't move to get ourselves back into rest, digest, and heal. If you notice animals, you watch something about a safari in Africa, and a lion chases an impala or whatever it is, right? They work grazing, and the lion comes up and they run, and when they stop, sometimes they'll show this, their skin, especially right behind their arm right here, their skin will shake and they'll go back to grazing. Well, they just went from fight or flight to rest, digest, and heal because the danger is gone. Well, we carry that danger with us. I've talked about this, like the media, they're just scaring the crap out of people all the time. And we carry that fear, those that watch it, carry that fear inside them. And when they go outside, it could be a beautiful day, kids playing, people walking dogs, just backyard barbecues. We have a hard time to relate to it because we're still carrying the trauma that we just saw on the news. So it's difficult to get back into. Let me reword that. It's not difficult to get back into rest, digest, and heal. What's difficult is the fear is nonstop because the mind doesn't know if it's actually happening, or it can imagine it and it's happening. Say it's an accident, you're in bed sleeping, and all of a sudden you wake up because you just relived that accident. Well, you're in fight or flight, and your breath was off, and you were low on oxygen, and all of a sudden that triggered that. And whatever that memory is for you, it could be physical, it could be a verbal thing where you got a scolding when you were little and you're too young to defend yourself. So you carry that with you, and it affects your breath all the way through your life till you stand and use your breath to bring it up and you step through it. Because that's the new series I'm doing. Stepping through the fear of the unknown through movement, breath, and qigong and breath. So that's how we get that back. So do we have another question there?
Why is it difficult for people to laugh or have fun when they are depressed?
Yeah, that goes back to lack of oxygen. When we can go in a room, right, and our energy will shift to whatever the energy in that room is. And if people are laughing and having a good time, even if we're a little off, a little low on oxygen, as we go in that room, our whole electrical system starts to shift. And we see people smiling and having fun, and they're upright, and whatever it is they're doing, it's a party or whatever, a dance thing, or you start moving because everybody else is moving. People that are depressed draw people to them that are depressed. They're low on oxygen. They've had trauma. And even those who, like us as practitioners, right? When we get around low energy people, they try to pull us down to their level. And we are trying to pull them up to ours energetically through breath, through movement. And some people come to the Qigong class and they get it and they stay, and others have a fear of breathing and have a fear of moving because we've been trained that that's not a good thing. You know, when you look at yoga and light stretching and Qigong, and the medical system thinks that's crazy. And that's what we're taught from a young age. And it isn't until we get older that we start to figure out, you know what, they really have something here. Stretching and keeping the rib cage and the chest and the back flexible, keeping our legs flexible. These are really important things to do, and getting our mindset so that we understand that one half of the body is manual and it must be moved, and that's the lymphatic side. And the other side is electrical. And if the lymphatic side gets congested, it affects the electrical side. And we start getting pain, and we start getting all these different things, you know, and the fascia. The fascia is really important in that too, because as it gets dehydrated and as low on oxygen, you can't reach as high as you used to. So through this breathing, and you can breathe in and out through your mouth. Some people have a hard time breathing through their nose, but that's what creates nitric oxide. So the best thing to do for people who have a hard time breathing through the nose, if they can hum, it will still create nitric oxide. That's a great way to create nitric oxide, in fact, because your mouth is closed and and you're breathing in and out through your nose. So it's a great way to help you relax too, that vibration going through. There's very little vibration in a person who's depressed, and there are like a million levels of depressed, you know, and the difference, I was thinking about this, and my guide showed me that anxiety is the fear of doing something. And depression, you might not want to live. You might not want to, you don't want to do anything. So one is the fear of, and the other one is really life consuming, because there's not enough oxygen or movement in the body to bring it back to life. It could be a relationship, the loss of a loved one. I mean, anything can cause depression. It can cause anxiety. You know, taxes is a big anxiety time. You know, and so those are the things that we need to really look for and respond to, and know that right up here, just off the side of the chest, right here, you may find a sore spot. This is a lung meridian right here, and you can tap on that and rub it, and it'll help to open up the lungs. You breathe in and out through the nose, or if you have to, breathe in and out through the mouth. And just rub on that spot. Okay, not to be confused with the lymphatic gate number 1, which is just above the collarbone and just below it. It's right next to the, over towards the crease. If you feel, you'll feel a sore spot there. Or you might not if they're in good shape. But that is an electrical spot for the lungs to help open it up. So that'll bring more oxygen into your body as well, turning on the parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, and heal. And there are many herbs and tinctures that will help do that too. Mullein is a great one for the lungs. The natives used to smoke it. Now, I don't know if I'd do that or if I would promote that, because it's hot and it's smoke. And whenever you put anything hot or smoke into the lungs, it affects its ability to absorb oxygen. So herbal tea or a tincture is a much better way to have mullein in your body. And skullcap is another good one. That's the upper certain brain and nerve. So that's a great herb for that.
Now, you would say that the first thing to do actually is getting more oxygen in your body. And because the other question was, can someone step beyond depression and find their happiness? So we do start with the correct breathing to get more oxygen in our body.
Yes, and hydration. You know, like the fruits, the berries, the melons, and live liquids. You know, taking those berries and making them in, or fruits, berries, and melons, making them into juices. or smoothies, or the master cleanse, which is what I prefer, and it's what I've done for years, because it costs $1 or $1.50 to make 32 ounces of it. And you just sip it all day long, and every sip you take, you say, my body's getting stronger, my mind is getting clearer, my digestive system is starting to come back to life, my intestinal tract is perfect in every way. And even though it may not be true at first, your body is listening. Within the word heart is hear, ear, heart. And if you take the H and put it on the other end, it's earth. And that's where this whole body came from, the earth. Our kidneys, when they're filtering properly, well, our kidneys from the earth. The adrenals on top deliver quantum energy out into the body. And that's connected to your breath. So if the kidneys are having a problem, the adrenals are most likely having a problem. So when we go on hikes and we take an energy bar, right, or an energy drink, well, most of that stuff is garbage. You're much better off to have an apple or an orange or, something on a tangerine, something on that level, because it's a different type of sugar. These bars, we eat them and we get a boost of energy, and then we have a lull afterwards. Well, what's happening is, as we're eating that man-made sugar is poison, and it lowers the body's energy. So the energy and all its self-regulating wisdom, which is exactly what it has, it kicks the adrenals into passing gear, just like your car. And while it's dealing with the poison to get it out of the system, this is working really hard to give you the extra energy you need to get up that hill or whatever it is you're doing. And when it's done digesting that, you have a crash, you have a lull. And when you do, you eat another bar rather than have an apple or an orange or something that's going to give you good, solid energy. So these are the things we have to watch out for. As people that are having anxiety or depression, their whole system is down. Their adrenals are down. They're heavy in their lungs, because this depression lives in the lungs. Anxiety, okay? Anxiety, we tend to breathe faster and short. Depression is a different type of breath. And that's why it's important to learn the breaths, the ones that empower us and lift us up, rather than being stuck like this. And we're only able to shallow breathe because of the position our body is in. So it's important to remember to be tall, to stand up, to move the body, to express yourself. This right here, people that go in for, let's say a job interview, right? And you're the person on the other side of the desk, and I'm trying to get a job with you. And they go, what's your name? Gary Parent. And what do you do? Well, I've had a few jobs, and I don't know, I just like to work for you. Well, what do you think you'd bring to the company that would help us? I'm a pretty good worker. I kind of show up on time, and okay. Now you get that scenario. That's somebody that's depressed or is insecure, right? Whereas if you go into someone's office and they say, what's your name? You go, hi, my name's Gary Parent, and I'm here. I know I can help your company. I'm a good organizer, and I love being around people, and I love helping people find what they need. So I think I'm perfect for this job. Are you willing to give me a chance to find out? Now, there's two different scenarios. One is on the depression side, and the other one is on the happy, joy, laughter side. the confident side. The other one is on the self-doubt side. So those are things that we can learn that really, I mean, all it is one's action and one's withdrawal. And depression is a withdrawal. So which one of those two people would you rather hire? And that's basically how we go through life. We go through life like this, or we go through life like this. And it's a choice. We get to choose that. You know, the person that caused the depression, let's say you were too young to defend yourself when something happened to you. It could be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. That person might not even be alive, or they're still alive, but you move to a different part of the country, just get away from them. Their voice is still in your head. The feeling that they gave you is still in your body. And that came in through the breath. And the way to release it is through the breath. So we take a nice deep breath through the nose and a belly breath, and we hold it. And something comes up, right? You don't have to hold your breath till something comes up. You could actually do that ahead of time. Or you just say, because I don't care what happened in the past. I want to be in the present. I want to be in the right now and make my decisions not based on what happened to me. So when I exhale really hard. And in my head, and you can physically say this before or after you exhale, any energy that's in my body that happened to me in the past that's causing a limitation, I'm not giving my body, I'm telling my body to eliminate it right now. And when you exhale, it causes a vibration in the body. The inhale and the exhale causes a vibration in the body that will push that out because it's stuck in the tissue somewhere. And we've been over this before, like depression is in the lungs, anger is in the liver. Whoops, this side, the liver. I'm looking at myself in the bone there, in the liver. Kidneys hold all kinds of tension. The knees, fright. The hips, fear moving forward. Financial or insecurity is in the small of the back. The weight of the world on our shoulders. These are all frequencies that are stuck in the body, and we're actually stuck in that frequency. So it's in our aura. And when something comes up, a certain sight, sound, taste, smell, touch, it triggers that vibration. And we get our breath shifts to that frequency. And we are recreating it. So people that are in depression, that frequency is on all the time. And shaking that, moving that, standing and looking at it without fear and blowing it out through your breath will detune, desensitize that frequency that's over here bouncing around. And as it gets weaker and weaker, it will be replaced by a frequency that is stronger and stronger. And eventually it'll go away, and those voices or those physical actions that happened, you'll still have the memory, but not the emotional response. A lot of people that came back from Vietnam, there was a friend of ours that he hasn't been able to sleep very well. So I had him do 10 very long, deep breaths and very long exhales. So belly breaths, right? So it's more like, okay, let's empty out here. And you go, this is why you're laying down. And you hold, and you slowly exhale. I give my body permission to relax. You do 10 of those. Now he hadn't slept in 15 years, not restfully. He'd never made it past five breaths, because your body has to do what you tell it. And when you're stuck in an emotion, the emotion is telling your body what to do. It's sending frequencies up into the brain, because the brain lives in complete darkness. It doesn't know anything about light. It only knows frequency. And color is a frequency. Touch is a frequency. And it feels it. And it processes that, and it tells you what you're feeling, what it feels like. Okay? You hear it. You smell it. You taste it. These are all frequencies. So these frequencies rule our brain, because it is processing all the time, even when we sleep. And sleep is a low oxygen level, because we're slowing down. And that's when the quantum energy can come in. And that's why breath is so important. When we relax, I mean, like totally relax, the quantum energy will come through. The other way to activate that is through motion and breath. So if you're being intimate with a partner, you're rocking, your breath is changing, and when you become no one, nowhere, no place, no time, which is what sleep is, quantum energy comes down through and out. And that's why we're not involved in making, no, I can't say we're not involved. It's not us that creates another life. It's the energy that comes down through. And when you have an orgasm, that orgasm is quantum energy, but it goes into the physical form and fertilizes the egg. And then you have a mom cell and a baby cell. And what do cells do? They divide and they create a baby. And when that baby's ready to be born, those two cells divide and you have two people. And that's how many ever years we've been on this planet, because nobody knows. It's all speculation. It's all guess. It's like cells in the body. They don't even know how many cells there are in the body, but they sure are willing to tell you. And every doctor has a different amount. So those are the things that cause chaos and confusion, because we're going to people who think they have the answer for what's going on, and they're trying to drug the body into health. You don't have to drug the body into health. You just learn how to feed it and maintain the maintenance side of it, and it will heal itself. It will regenerate itself, let's put it that way. On a cellular level, there's epigenetics, right? Bruce Lipton's epigenetics. Well, fruit is perfect for that, because it's high energy. So when we consume it, we're updating our body to that frequency, and this keeps us healthy. And those are the things that hydration, oxygen, nutrition, movement, rest, grounding to the earth, and changing our story from impulse. I was just listening to a doctor, and he was talking about the nerves in the feet. All right. You want to talk about depressing people? He went through all this stuff about the nerves in your feet and how you get older and they start to die. And I'm like, what? And it's just the way it is. It's going to be that way for the rest of your life. I'm like, who is this guy? Because this is what doctors are telling people, and they think that they're an authority. Yeah, they're an authority on giving you medications. And the body has to try to regulate itself when it's lacking oxygen, nutrition, hydration, right? And now it's got to fight because it's low on all those three things. And now it's got to fight the medication too. And that's why it takes them so long sometimes to get you balanced out. It's like people saying that it's any part of the body. When we believe what they are telling us, it lowers our energy. We could go in there feeling great, and when you leave, you feel like you just got hit by a truck just from the story they tell you. That's not good. Because they don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to get you on medication, and they're in complete control. And the lower your energy is, the easier it is to control everything you do in your life, including the clothes you buy and wear. I talk about that in my book.
It's being in control is of your own body and your mind is so important. And I hear many people say, yes, but my doctor wants me to do this, or I have to. And it's like, no, you don't. But yeah, what you said, you go out with low energy. You already go in with fear. That is one thing. I mean, that everybody who goes to the doctor goes already in with fear, comes out with more fear about something that may or may not happen. But yeah, we actually had a few questions, and I have two here. One is from
Okay.
Donna. Depression is in the lungs, and I've had a cough for many, many years that I have not been able to solve. Is this related?
Can you say that last part again? What
If
was
the,
it he had?
yeah, if a cough that you've had for many
Ah,
years, and we're talking about like 25 years,
mm-hmm,
can that be related to the lungs? You said depression is in the lungs.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it
how
can
is
be.
how can it, she has not been able to solve, and no doctors have been able to solve that cough?
Yeah, because it's an energetic level. Uh, the throat is probably compromised. I would ask if they were able to speak their truth when they were young, or were they suppressed every time they tried to talk? Because this is what happens in school, all right? And so we need to open that throat up, and that will go through breath and mullein for lungs. The master cleanse definitely for lungs. Uh, for the throat, I'd be doing lion's breaths, because I've helped people with COPD get past COPD. I didn't cure them. Okay, let's make that perfectly clear. They do the work, they get the results. So we're going to do a lion's breath. Matter of fact, maybe we'll do two, so that they can see this, because this opens up the throat. Okay. And I'd really have to like talk to them, but chances are they were suppressed in their ability to communicate when they were young, and they get stuck right here, and that's breath, because you're changing your breath when you're suppressed. You get angry, or you get different things going on, and it locks the muscles in the throat. Okay, so when we do a lion's breath, we inhale through the nose, head back, we smile, releases endorphins, and we stretch this area right here, right? Stretch that right out. And then we exhale, we stick our tongue all the way out like that. And that opens the throat, and we're going to clean the toxins out of the lungs, all right? And this will help with depression, it'll help with anxiety, all kinds of things this will help with. So inhale through the nose, head back, smile. Nice belly breath. Get that diaphragm to drop, relaxes the heart. And then we do lion's breath, exhale. And we tap it. And this covers the kidneys, liver. Okay. So we'll do one more. Inhale through the nose, head back, smile. Get those endorphins. It's hard to have a bad thought when your head's back and you're smiling because you're in a position that's positive. Lion's breath, exhale. We do these every time there's a class. We do lion's breaths. They are extremely important, and you're getting rid of tension in the lungs and the throat. The other one is tongue circles, and we did that in a show. You think I should do those now?
Sure, you can show it. Yes.
Okay, so I'll get up. Am I close enough? So what we do is we take our tongue and we put it in front of our top teeth and under the lip. Okay. And the goal is to move as slow as you can. We're going to do 25 circles in one direction and 25 in the other. And this will help open up the throat, the fascia. It'll get rid of tension in the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, the neck, and the jaw. So put your tongue between your top teeth and your lip, and it's just going to roll right around on the inside of the lips and the mouth. Okay, there's 25 in that direction. There's 25 in the other. If you can't do the whole 25, I get it. I had a hard time the first time I did it too, because it's stretching all these muscles, right? And you give yourself permission to be able to speak your truth. Most people are not. They're speaking their programs, and when the truth pops up out of the out of the program stuff that you're supposed to do, especially in the health system, well, this 20-pound sledgehammer comes over and hits that, and it hurts you, and it goes right to your voice. 25 in the other direction. Okay, 25 in the other direction. And there will be certain people around you that when you get in front of them, your voice, your ability to breathe gets really tight. That's when you know that they were trying to control you, and it's time to set yourself free. Like I said,
it may go way back. Donna says within my family growing up, I was not able to speak about anything. And this made me think about something, because when I read that from Donna, I had to think back to my own childhood. I was sexually abused by my father from age 7 till age 12. And that was a secret. So I could not speak. And when I finally did speak, I was accused. So I stayed quiet. Now, I wasn't going to say anything about this, but what I just felt when I was thinking about that, when I read what Donna was saying, is thyroid. I right away felt pressure on my thyroid.
Mhm.
And was diagnosed with hypothyroid from age no young age, but I was a chubby child from 8,
Mhm.
9, 10 years old. It got worse when I was 12. I was like 196 pounds when I was 16. That is when they put me on thyroid medication. And that made me think, because every time I am under stress, which nowadays is actually rare, but when I'm under stress, I right away feel the thyroid. How is that related? Oh, yeah. Donna too is on thyroid medication.
Yes.
We want to know how that is related, but I want to say that Donna also said constant coughing when doing the lion's breath with my head back,
Mhm.
breathing in.
Yes. Yes. It's coughing is like shaking. It's the body trying to release the stress, the tension. There's something in the lungs, heaviness. There's something in the throat, heaviness. And for you, it's your thyroid. And for her, it's her thyroid. Uh, but the chances are it's not. I can't say that it's not because, I don't have a medical license. What I can say is it's energy stuck in those areas. And it's like making a fist, okay? And you hold it and you squeeze it tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. That's what happens when you hold your voice and you can't speak your truth. It goes into certain areas in the body and it creates this tension. And the the blood and the lymph can have a hard time flowing through it. And it burns energy, more energy, because it's trying to drive it through, right? So through these movements that we're doing, and I'm going to do another one here just for you two, or everybody in the crowd, but that will help with that. Okay. And this is for the lungs, and it's also for the whole throat area. But standing up and creating a story where you couldn't defend yourself at a certain age and these bad things were happening, horrifying things, right? They're not happening anymore, but you're still carrying the trauma from that. And it's in your throat, it's in your lungs. And when you do this lion's breath, coughing is the body trying to eliminate it. It's not just trying, it is eliminating it, but it's going to take some time, and just keep at it. The other one, and I think we've done this in some of the other shows. So your chin comes out. This is an exhale. So we breathe in and you exhale. And you put your chin against your chest and you pretend there's a ball under your chin. And you breathe in through your nose. And you try to touch your head to the ceiling, right? So you want that nice straight posture. And then you exhale. You do that for even a half an hour, even if it's like, because when you first start, you might not be able to do it for half an hour. Do it for 2 or 3 minutes and then try to work your way up to 5 and try to get up to 20 minutes. And while you're doing that, you're giving yourself permission to speak your truth, because your truth has been suppressed all these years. Were you going to say something, or?
I had another question, and that came up when it just about half an hour happened to me, was yawning.
Yes,
Out of nowhere, and then cannot stop yawning, and then 10, 15 minutes and it's gone.
yes. Your body is lacking oxygen.
By
because that's what,
shallow breathing.
yes, there are areas it's trying to get to. So you yawn and you take in that big deep breath, right? And it fills the lungs. And because I yawn a lot when I do breath work. I yawn a lot sometimes. Well, I'm doing breath work with Qigong, uh, and the movement and everything. And somebody in class will start yawning, and then everybody's yawning. So, because it's so contagious. uh, but yes, these are all signals from your body. It's eliminating things, it's drawing air in, and it's going deeper into the body. And it's when you exhale, you're exhaling toxins, to stress the body to make that that throat loosen up. Is you can also intensify your neck, like clenching like this, and really get your neck nice and tight. So we have a thing that we do called like iron, and we do that in class. And what happens is, as we stress, when people have hand cramps and things, you press and you hold that, and you hold it as tight as you can. And over time, you'll get tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay. And then when you open your hands, all those muscles in there that were right on the edge of spasm will start to relax. Same thing will happen in the neck. But it's about changing our story from impossible, the trauma that happened, and it's not happening anymore. So it's possible to move on beyond that. I had people in my life. I grew up not being able to read or write, so I had a lot of trauma from school, and I'm still releasing a lot of that. But it was all in my spine. So
Donna asked if you can show that last breath again, a little closer to the camera and slower.
yep, the lion's
The other
breath.
one, the last one.
Oh, this okay. So I'll do it face on, right? I did it sideways so you could watch, but so we start with an inhale, right? And we exhale through the mouth, and we push our head forward like this and down, and pretend there's a ball under your chin, right? And you breathe in. And then you exhale. And you breathe in. And you exhale. And you breathe in. And you notice how your posture is, okay? And this will start to also strengthen all your posture muscles, so that when you're walking, and you're sitting correctly, so that the autonomic nerve, the vagus nerve, is not pinched anywhere, because it can get pinched here. It comes out of here, so it can get pinched. It can get pinched here. It can get pinched here. So that's how that goes. In through the nose and exhale. In through the nose. Exhale. You can even put your hand there and put your chin on your hand, so that you're dragging up across it. I prefer not being there, because that little bit of extra that you're tipping your head forward is really important, because it's stretching the back of the neck too. This will get rid of scar tissue in your lungs. I mean, it is amazing what this will do. And as you're exhaling, you are exhaling toxins from your lungs too. It's just the lion's breath is much better at releasing them, because your throat is totally open when you stick your tongue out like that. So, and you want to try to touch your belly button to your spine when doing lion's breath. So those are some awesome things that we can do. We can stretch, and but to get we don't really have to get into the mode of what happened, because it exists in a frequency in our aura. So as we're tapping into that memory, right, and we do these breaths, especially the lion's breath, or just inhaling, right, like this. We do it with the intention of releasing that vibration, because it's all about intention. Their intention, hurting people hurt people, and their intention might not have been to hurt you, but who knows, the same thing might have happened to them when they were growing up, and they're just unable to break the frequency. So as we step into our true self, we break those frequencies, not the memory, the frequency. And that no longer vibrates the way that it used to. And it gets dimmer. Sometimes you can get rid of it in a heartbeat, right? So once we calm that down, a new neurological pathway is being built where that breath doesn't exist in that situation anymore. So this is so important to understand that we are holding that in our body, wherever it is, okay? Wherever it is, we're holding that. And we are the commander in chief of our body, not our doctor, not your neighbor, nobody. And we have the power to turn it on and get rid of whatever is causing limitations in our body through our breath, our hydration, our oxygen. Dr. Perry Nicholson, I think it is. If you look up Dr. Perry, it should take you to him. But he said, no, it was Gary Brecker said, the presence of oxygen is the absence of dis-ease. The presence of oxygen is the absence of disease. I call it disease because I don't believe in disease. You know, a cell only needs what I talked about: proper hydration, nutrition, oxygen, movement, rest, grounding to the earth, and having an incredible story that lifts you out of the past. You know, our words are quantum energy. The heart, the mind, they can fight each other. Like, so what happened to you and Donna is the trauma separated your heart and your mind. And what's in the middle is your breath and your words. And in the beginning, there was the word, and the word said, let there be light. This means that words are more powerful than light. So we are literally, because we have a broken heart, speaking our story, we are speaking light and darkness into our life simply by the words we choose and the intention we put on them. And would you want somebody that did whatever it was they did to you in your life to control your life? That's what I had to wake up to, because I had a lot of things happen. And once I realized that they were controlling my life and they weren't even alive, I asked myself, would I want them to control my life? Well, no, I don't want them to control my life at all. I want to live my life as me. So then I found a way to let go of that. And once I let go of it, I was free of it. Do I still have the memories? Yeah, I still have the memories, but they're over there. And I don't allow them in anymore to change me or my life. I'm free to be me. And I am the tuning fork. And the tuning fork is controlled by my voice and my breath, because it's in the middle. And when they're in harmony, your heart, when you speak from your heart, The words are warm and soothing. And when you speak from your mind through anger, they're harsh, they're sharp, they're cutting. We use words like sharp objects to slash at each other with. And those are the things that are happening over our lifetime. And we don't realize that we have now, as an adult, control over that. And this is one thing that I do with people a lot is just close your eyes, take a nice, slow, deep breath through your nose, and just hold it for a second and just relax. It's safe to relax. It's safe to breathe. It's safe to have your own voice, your own opinion. Go down inside your body to the age that that child had the issue. Look at them, tell them you love them, hug them, and say it's safe. I'm an adult now. This will never, ever happen again. I am free to speak my truth. It doesn't have to match anyone else's truth. It's my truth. And I am free to express it through love and kindness any way I wish.
Powerful, Gary, and important.
Yes. And we should do that like if that emotion does come up, go back in and tell that child that they're safe, that you're an adult now. Anybody tries that stuff now, there's going to be big trouble. So that's how powerful we are. We are quantum energy in a physical body. First breath is in, turns on the heart, the lungs, the electrical system. The last one is out, turns off all of that. The energy goes back to source and the body stays here. And we go to the next universe or whatever's out there. Nobody knows. They'll tell you they know, but nobody knows because it's beyond us. It's quantum. It's, we were inside two people and those two people got together and created you. Well, when we leave this realm, because we came from the quantum into this field, we'll leave this field and go into the next, whatever is out there. But I'm excited. I'm excited to experience the next thing. Who knows where I came from? Does it matter? No, because I'm here to enjoy this. I'm here to help as many people as I can realize how powerful they are and to gather that energy and shift it out into the universe so other people can get it, because we're all one energy. We have a single thread, right? And our memory is out here in the field. It's not in here, it's out there. So when they build plaque, when plaque is built, which is toxins, on the inside of the skull, we're no longer able to send out frequencies and receive them. And we call that forgetfulness, dementia, Alzheimer's. Or I guess they're calling it stage 3 diabetes now. It's toxins building in the body. And they can call it anything they want. How do you take a cell that only needs 7 things and create over 22,000 different diseases? And I think there's over, I have to check on this, but I think it's over 500,000 different drugs that they can dish out. And there's a company. I used to sit and have coffee with in Rhode Island at the coffee shop, and there was a woman there that worked for a company in Massachusetts. And I don't know if you know what off-label medications are. But doctors are allowed to give off-label medication. So if it's for thyroid, let's say, and it's causing more damage than it's helping, which a lot of them are, doctors will give it for other things. That's called off-label. So they may end up pulling that. The FDA may end up pulling that drug. Her job was to relabel the exact same pill for a different illness. Now, it's still causing the same problem. They don't change anything. They just relabel it and put it out for a different disease, one that they already made up. They're made up. I mean, ED, right? And once they start telling people this, they'll manifest it into their life. Oh my God, I wouldn't want to have that. Oh my God, I might have that problem. I better call my doctor. That whole ED thing was made up by an advertising company.
Yeah,
Because it never.
those are really horrible when you see those medication being advertised. Do you have this? Do you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I know. Gary, Dave had some questions,
Okay.
and he starts with, Gary, you are such a wealth of knowledge. If you don't mind me asking, and he's getting nosy now. One, how young are you? Two, how long have you been practicing what you teach? And three, have you personally healed yourself of any challenges?
Yes, 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 and yes. I'm 73. Challenges. I was pronounced dead at the scene in 1979. Told I'd never walk again, and they were going to amputate this arm right here because they said it would never work. Okay. Massive head injury in a coma for 4 days. 6 months later, once I wiggled the toe, I knew I was good. I came home in a wheelchair. I was in Florida, an auto accident. And it took 6 months, and I was back to doing a mile a day. So I did mixed martial arts for 19 years. So I was used to helping my body regenerate itself, repair itself. And so I've been doing this for a long time. On this level, actually, Dr. Morse is the first one that really I found out about I'd never even heard of the lymphatic system until I heard Dr. Morse. And it was the first time I ever heard anyone tell the truth. You just knew it was true. And it was such an enlightening thing that I went to his classes. I've been to 3 or 4 of them. And the people you meet there are incredible. Now, I don't think he does live stuff anymore. It's on the internet. But I was fortunate enough to go to the classes in Florida, and I study every single day. I mean, I have pictures of people. Nancy, they carried her in off a hospice bed, and my friend Jim says, "So what are you gonna do with that?" I said, "I'm gonna teach her how to heal herself." Sorry. So 5 classes, they kicked her out of hospice, took all her support. The 7th class, she was driving herself back and forth. This is how important breath, hydration, and movement is. Learning how to breathe, learning how to manually work that lymphatic system. So in 6 weeks, she passed her 3-wheel motorcycle permit test. She's 74. She had this finger right here, locked down. 14 years it had been like that. She'd been hemorrhaging from her lungs for 14 years. And I have pictures of all this, and I can send them if they want them. Okay. And she came in and she goes, "Look, it had popped up." And then a few weeks later, she could pick it up like that. Her ankles were about 3 times their normal size, so she would never wear anything but long pants. And the doctor said, you could become anorexic, those will never change. Yeah, well, I got pictures of her. Her ankles are back to normal size. So when you see what they're doing, I mean, they wiped out my whole family before I found Dr. Morse. And I said, if I ever find out the truth, I'm going to tell the world. I've been online for, I think, 10 years telling people how to regenerate their bodies. Nancy thought she'd never be able to go back to her camp. She lived there alone, drove back and forth to classes for a year and a half. That's how important this is. Cara, when she got hold of me on the internet, I've never met Cara. She's a beautiful soul. She had 70 listed diseases, a paralyzed face, and 14 days to live. Go home and get your paperwork ready. You're done. 10 months later, no paralysis, skin clear. It's been, I don't know, 3-4 years now. And she looks like a model. So when you go to a doctor and he starts telling you the bullshit that they say, and they're telling you that your life is over, walk around, turn around, and you can walk out the door, but if you can do it, you run out that door. Listen to the diagnosis, take it and run. And don't listen to the prognosis, because it's just like the nerves in the feet that doctor said, it's just going to get weaker over time. Well, if you think it's going to get weaker over time, you're the commander in chief. It's going to get weaker over time. And that is BS beyond BS. Your electrical system is your breath, your circulation, your lymphatic system, and you need to get it moving. And it's not about synthetic drugs. It's not about surgery. It's not about any of that crap. Now, I'm not saying they don't do good things. They do, but that's in the emergency room. I'm talking about long care. So it's time that we all stood up inside ourselves and wake up to how powerful we are. To get in tune with nature. Nature is a classroom, not that 4 walls they lock you in and fill your head full of crap. That was torture for me because I didn't get it. When I graduated, I couldn't read or write. It took me 15 years to get through the school system to graduate from high school. But I could go home, tear a car apart, put it back together, a motorcycle. But I was the stupid one. But what I get is energy. What I understand now through Dr. Morse and many other people is we are the power. And that thread goes up and we're all connected to the energy. And that's where your memory is. And anything they do to take that away from you, they're going to do it. Because they're into selling, cutting, and replacing. When you have, let's say you have a kidney, your spare kidney, by the way, which that's a lie. They take your kidney and they give it to somebody else. They put that person on a drug that eliminates the lymphatic system, the immune system, because it's a foreign material. And So your immune system is so weak, you're not even supposed to go outside. You're not supposed to hug anybody. You're not supposed to do anything because you might get a germ. And if you get a germ, you'll get sick and you don't have an immune system to fight it. That's why they kill it, because it would go in and it would attack that, because it's not matter from your original frequency. There are just so many things that they do that are just, I mean, they're out there so far. They've gone down inside a cell so far, they've forgotten that it only needs certain things. It needs love, needs care, hydration, right? Oxygen. And if you can't deliver it, then that cell starts to get weak because it's not producing enough energy. And if it's not producing enough energy, you get a thing called dis-ease in the body. I mean, it's crazy. It is absolutely insane what long-term care does to people. You take a person and you put them in bed and stagnation sets in because all they're doing is laying there, bed sores and everything else. Or you have 3 lymphatic pumps in the body, diaphragm, balls of the feet. If you're not walking, you're just laying there and you're shallow breathing, your whole lymphatic system is just starting to get stagnant. And the more stagnant it gets, the more drugs they give you. It's, I don't know. So I just do my thing. I study like crazy and I walk out through areas, and if I see somebody struggling with breath or something, I just stop and say, and I've done this to a lot of people, right? One person, he was in Washington State, and I said, just do this with me, because he was having heart issues. And breathe in through the nose nice and slow. Keep your head back, smile, hold it. And just gently exhale. We did 5 of those. He was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. That's how easy it is. They don't teach you to breathe. They give you that puffer, right? Or whatever that thing is. I don't even know, because I don't study any of that side of life, because it's not real. It's an illusion that we've been sucked into, and we're supposed to believe it. But so whether they're drawing on it or blowing in it, I don't know, but it has a bunch of little balls of different colors that go up and down, right? Well, you're already compromised because nobody taught you how to breathe. And you're watching this, you're listening to their story of your demise, and you're watching these go low and lower and lower. And you're watching the life drain out of your body. And they're like, yep, see, I told you. Not so, man. and you can't take it away from the people, the nurses and the doctors and stuff, because they're trained in that system, and that system won't let them out of there. Lyme disease, right? Chronic Lyme. Oh, there's no such thing as chronic Lyme. 2 doctors did research on their own. This is a movie called Under Our Skin. They did research on their own time and were helping people all over the world from Lyme. And guess what? They fired those 2 guys. They took their licenses. They took all their money, their retirement, and left them on the street. Yeah, that's called modern medicine. And it's crazy. So stand up inside ourselves, awaken to the physical side of our body, and know that it's run by your breath. It's the flow that keeps us alive. Stagnation, even water in a mud puddle, when it gets stagnant, even the animals won't drink it. There's no life in it. It's poison at that point. And when you have medication made from petroleum and put it in a organic, natural body, it's going to have effects. I got tagged by the fact checkers. This was for a tree, and it said it was 6,000 years old, right? Oh, I did it because it was a beautiful tree. I don't care how old the tree is, but it was massive. And they said it was false information. So I wrote back and I said, so in my understanding, nothing is a fact unless it's been weighed and measured by science. So if science never weighed and measured that tree, you don't know how old it is either. It could be 8,000 years old for all you know. And they took down the whole thing, the picture and everything, and said, usually when this happens, the person that posted the picture took it down. And that was from the fact checkers. So I wrote underneath it, well, the fact is, the fact checkers took it down, not me. So you need to talk to the fact checkers, not me, about this. And the whole thing disappeared. And I've never had anything fact checked since. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not watching me, but I'm trying to be careful about what I say and how I say it. Because
go ahead.
No, go.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost my train of thought already.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My train is derailed a few times too.
Yeah, well, I see on a few comments in front of me, and I do have to let you know about that. Donna writes, God bless you, Gary. So touching. Miracles. Dave writes, I truly appreciate your open vulnerability and thoroughness in answering our questions, Gary. May God continue blessing your longevity and results in your life and that of others. Okay, and then Donna asked, I know you already showed it, but can you please do the lion's breath again? After you do that, if you're willing to do that again, then I would like to show a short video clip from Dr. Morse about depression, and we can go, after that, we can go into that for a few minutes, and we're already at an hour and a half, so that is much longer than I usually do.
Yes, I know.
So can you do close to the camera one more lion's breath for Donna and all of us?
Yes. Yes. So lion's breath, we breathe in through the nose, those that can, right? Because that's creating nitric oxide, which helps the heart relax and opens the arteries and veins, makes them more pliable. Okay. So, and then we smile. So we breathe in through the nose, head back, smile. And we do the lion's breath. We stick our tongue all the way out as far as we can to open up that throat. All right. So we go. And you go all the way down to your feet, back up the outside of your legs, you're the inside of the legs. A lot of lymph nodes there. Up through and get the kidneys, then come right back up to chest. So inhale through the nose, head back, smile, and hold, and then lion's breath, exhale. And you can do that sitting in a chair. You know, you can do that any way that you find comfortable. You can't do it laying on the floor though, or on a bed, because it's hard to get to your kidneys. You could do it if you just did down to your knees or something. So it's about tapping the body and finding the sensitive spots, the sore spots, and then just massaging them and rubbing them and getting the flow back in the body again. So what was the second part of that?
Yeah, I want to show that short video clip. It's 3 or 4 minutes by Dr. Morse about depression.
Excellent.
And okay, let me see, how do I do that? If I still remember this. Share screen. And it is this one.
Depression comes about when the body stops utilizing calcium properly.
Can you guys hear it and see it?
Parathyroid.
Yes.
Okay.
We were just talking about cold and flu-like symptoms and the mucus that you builds up in the body from eating wrong foods, particularly animal products and particularly dairy products.
Oops.
Well, this same mucus that fills your sinuses, fills your olfactories, so you lose a sense of smell. It fills your thyroid, parathyroid up. It fills your voice box. Have you ever had your voice box full of mucus? And then you talk better? Absolutely. You fill up full body mucus. Well, mucus suppresses the function of tissues, of cells. So when you suppress your parathyroid gland, you lose parathormone. Parathormone is a parathyroid hormone that's essential for calcium utilization. So when you have a weak parathyroid, you can't utilize calcium. These are some of the symptoms you see: depression, bruising easy. You see varicose or spider veins, herniations, aneurysms. You see wrinkles in the skin, saggy breast, prolapsed organs and glands. You see all kinds of stuff like this because calcium is a main component to neural tissue, main component to connective tissue. It holds everything together, and of course, the main component to skeletal tissue. And the parathyroid is essential to fix that. So depression is a parathyroid experience. And you take your mothers out there that have a parathyroid weakness, and you have children. Very serious issues postpartum depression. Because I don't know if you remember, in this country, we had Andrea Yates, a female that drowned all 5 of her babies. Major postpartum depression, majorly gaunt. You could see her skin majorly, easy to tell she had calcium utilization problems. They just had her on antidepressants. So she was hallucinating on these. And so she said God told her to drown her babies or the devil was going to get them. That's the kind of problem that we're facing with pharmaceuticals versus practitioners like yourselves that know how to fix these things. The mothers that give all their calcium to their baby, not all, but they give a great portion of their calcium to their babies. Remember, you're growing a fetus in here from an embryo or from a cell. So all this chemistry you ladies are sharing and giving. If you're not utilizing calcium and you're getting it robbed from you, what's going to happen to you? And postpartum depression is a big one, a big one. But then you lose your tone, you lose your fingernails, you lose all kinds of things. Not good, but easy to fix.
How do you
fix the parathyroid gland? How do you do that? You want a cold and flu-like symptom. Well, how are you going to wait till one comes? No, you're going to promote one. How do you promote one? That's what detoxification is. It cleans your butt out from head to toe. And during that process, we rebuild tissue. So you have win-win. Cleaning the body out of all the toxins, the mucus, all the excital neurotoxins that you're putting in from the makeups and everything else, and you're rebuilding tissue. Even your genetic weaknesses you can rebuild. So it's all cool, but you've got to learn those secrets of how you do that. And the first thing you have to do is start realizing what species you belong to. Change your diet. You're a primate species. You're a frugivore. Change your diet to high fruits, berries, and melons. And watch the magic as it begins to clean you and rebuild you. It's incredible.
So yes, that was the video with Dr. Morse about the parathyroid. Can you get into that, Gary? Did we lose? Oops. I'm sorry about that. Oh, I lost you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm back.
There we are. I'm so sorry.
No, there was a call or something that came in and it kicked me out.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. Maybe because it's still recording, so I don't know what happened. Because I lost Sarah too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did you hear the video?
No, it kept going. It was like in and out.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Because
But I'm
he was talking about the parathyroid.
okay.
And
Yeah.
it
Can I
was how yeah,
continue?
yeah, parathyroid, weak parathyroid, depression. And when you ask what is the cause, it is like, does diet have anything to do with depression? Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And what was Dr. Morse's solution? Well, you know what he would say: fruit, berries, and melons.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, eat your species appropriate diet. We're frugivores. End of
That's
story.
right. Even he calls himself a broken record,
Yeah,
right?
true.
No, he's amazing at it, and he knows so much about the intricate workings of the body. I mean, that's amazing. That's where I learned all that stuff was from Dr. Morse. Uh, Not that I haven't continued on to learn more things, but he's the guy that woke me up to all that. And
Yes, and it
so,
absolutely it makes sense. And it was after,
yes.
I've been on a long, long journey for healing. And I think
Hmm.
when I look back, it's been more than 50 years. It started when I was a teenager, figuring out what to eat.
Hmm.
Not never heard about just eating fruit. It went from macrobiotic to Atkins, and I didn't even like meat. And I was, like a vegan or at least vegetarian because I did eat
Hmm.
cheese, no milk and no yogurts. But all my life tried, yeah, so many ways. There was a Dr. Bergman. I thought they were making sense until they were not making sense. And I
Right.
was getting sicker and sicker. And I was like, I'm not going to make it till the end of the year. And there's Dr. Morse. And I was like, when I learned all that, and after 2 weeks, I had no pain. I felt that like I was flying. But
Hmm.
we have to be careful who we listen to, because there had been a person related to Dr. Mars. He was working at his clinic, who said something to me that started festering. And in a sense that, well, I was told that I couldn't do it, that he was very worried about me, and I wouldn't be able to do it while I was on top of the mountain, and I felt I can do anything, and I will be able to walk normal again, and have no pain, and get rid of the arthritis and the psoriasis, etc. And he told me that I couldn't do it, and I was like, I'll prove you wrong. And
Yeah.
from that moment on, actually, it kept festering. And that goes back to my childhood trauma. I had a in a way, very abusive mom. And so all these things that you have been talking about, they are really hitting hard, if I'd have to be honest. But it
Yeah.
it it all starts making sense. So I actually have to thank Donna too for asking her questions, because I
Hmm.
now see a relation that I had never even realized before. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad she asked that too, because that was a very important part of the whole discussion today. Because that's why we're here. We're here to help people rediscover their energy and rebuild their system. And it's not hard. It's hard to find the information. It's not hard to do. And that's the big thing about this. It's not hard to eat fruit. Might be hard to find ripe fruit, but it's not hard to eat fruit. Um, and berries and melons. And we know energetically, I mean, they're extremely powerful. And they're in a sterilized container that has hydration our body needs, enzymes, electrolytes, minerals, and vitamins. And the other important thing about that is the enzymes that's in the fruit is helping to digest it itself. So it takes a lot of burden off in the digestive system because it is digesting itself. because it has the enzymes already in it. When we eat a lot of food, a lot of cooked food and dead food, it doesn't have a lot of energy in it. So it puts a lot more burden on our pancreas because it's got to send, it's got a big task to do, and most of us overeat, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And when we overeat, we put so much stress on our digestive system that and our body's not producing enough energy because we're not breathing properly, that the adrenals are so fatigued that you go into what's called a sleep coma. You fall asleep. Some people are at a point when they drink alcohol, they fall asleep because there's not enough energy to deal with the load that's in there. Alcohol would be a poison that the body is self-regulating, so you don't have enough energy to deal with that poison or that heavy load of food you just ate because it's not self-digesting. You have an adrenal crash and you fall asleep. And then as it deals with that and it starts to come back, just like that energy bar I was talking about when they're climbing, same thing. Okay. As more energy is available, you start to come out of the food coma that you was in, or you might have just been asleep and you start to come back and you feel groggy and everything, right? Well, that's how deep into the sleep you were because the body made you do that. There was barely enough there to digest the food and allow you to sleep sometimes. So it's all these little things. We're supposed to eat small amounts of food.
Well, the thing is with fruit, you don't overeat. You
Yes.
eat until you're satisfied. You don't even eat until you're full. I mean, it's
Right.
like I have 5 or 6 tangerines and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Well, with cooked food, you easily overeat. It will never happen with fruit. The crazy thing is that. And I thought that was just interesting. It's like yeah, it is so meant to be that fruit for us. And I wish that more people would realize it and not seeing it something crazy, or let's just do a cleanse and yeah, maybe I need a cleanse. And it's like, no, with a cleanse, you're not getting it. And yeah, we have to keep getting this information out and how it can work for us in longevity. And yeah, beautiful. We're gonna leave something for other shows, Gary.
Okay. Right.
We are over. We're almost an hour and 45 minutes. I
All
don't
right.
even think people can see you right now, because what I see on one part is actually the video that I played, and I didn't know how to get it back. But
Okay.
that's
Okay.
okay. They could. That was only after the video. Before the video, they
Yep.
could see you just fine. I want to thank you for being here again. Oh, I still have to write from Sarah. Sarah had to go. She said I have to drop off, but I have loved the show so much. Thank you, Gary, and thank you for all for being here and all your questions.
Thank you very much for allowing me to be here. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure.
it's definitely a pleasure for us, and much love to you, Gary, and we'll figure out another topic for another day.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm doing my 14-day series, so
Oh yeah,
so
yeah, true.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So
thanks, Ian. Till the next time.
all right. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.